The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. We've got, well, it never ends at KMMS. We've got no music at all. So what else is new? But I think we are streaming, and I think we are maybe, I know we're on the phone app because I checked that. So hopefully it's always something, isn't it? I don't know, Shane.
It has to be. I mean, we are the ongoing, gotta survive, make it work, no matter what happens, guys.
Oh, man, this is just driving me crazy because, I come in this morning and the monitor where all the music is and all the spots are and all of that stuff, everything where I record the weather and record the Montana, the Headwaters livestock and all of that. Yeah. No dice. Nope. Ain't got it.
So, are you telling me there's no commercial time today?
Well, we've got a 30-second break at 17. That's it.
That's it. Oh, my God.
We got no Montana news and agriculture, no Headwaters livestock report. We'll have a local ad for Red Wing shoes, 30 seconds at 17 after. So, and then we just rock and roll till the bottom of the hour. So we're set, man. What could be better? Holy mackerel.
I'm good with that. This is fun.
Well, just more time, and we got no Jeff Krause today. Jeez. No Jeff Krause today. Jeff's traveling. So the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to call some of the robocallers that have left messages for us.
I gotta do that.
And we're going to see if we can have a little fun with them, see if we can keep anybody on the line for any length of time, and see if we can... we've always had a rule on the show that we don't make fun of callers, but this is an exception. They're not callers. We're the callers. So
yeah, exactly. Oh, no, this could be good.
Yeah, we're certainly going to try to make fun of them. So that should work. That should work pretty well. So, all right. Let's take a look at our Gallatin Valley weather, since we have no control over that either. So
apparently not.
Apparently not. Well, rain and snow and all kinds of stuff in the forecast. We're looking for rain. Certainly it rained when I came in this morning. 47 degrees the high, 29 the overnight low. We might get some snow overnight with those low temperatures. But we're looking for 3 to 5 inches of a combination, I guess, of rain and snow. And then into Wednesday, 36 is the high for the day, and we are looking for AM snow from the night before. That rain changing to snow overnight. 24 degrees will be the low. Then back to semi-normal, 40 degrees. Not much chance of precip at all on Thursday. 40 degrees will be the high. 21 the overnight low. Still a little nippy out there. 41 the high on Friday. 22, and nothing in the way of snow or rain over there, partly cloudy most of the day. And 47 on Saturday, mostly sunny, overnight low of 30 degrees. And for your Sunday, rounding out the weekend, we'll have showers, less than an inch, though, about a 50% chance during the day of showers on Sunday. 47 be the high. 28 the overnight low. Right now in Livingston, it's 40 degrees, and Manhattan is 41. Three Forks is 42. Gallatin Gateway is 38 degrees. Ennis is 41. Gardner is 40. Big Sky is 36. And at the airport over in Belgrade right now, it's 39 degrees and cloudy. And we are right at 40 degrees here in our lavishly appointed studios that don't work in downtown Bozeman. So there you are. I got some weather for you.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Wow, you're good at that.
That's just a wonderful thing, isn't it?
I'm impressed.
Yeah, the weather's really hard to do. You got to read it and everything, You got to know the temperatures and stuff, You got to know percentages. It's tough, man. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Well, on this day in history, April 9th, 1865, General Robert E. Lee surrendered his army to Ulysses S. Grant at the Appomattox Courthouse. Appomattox, yeah.
Appomattox.
Yeah, that Appomattox.
Appomattox.
Yeah. At the Vegemite Courthouse.
In Virginia.
In Virginia, no less, who won the NCAA last night.
And what's the irony in that? You know where it is.
They won again.
No, that's the first time in history they've won it. But what's
but they were a southern state. They lost.
The irony of them winning last night
and losing in 1863 or 1865.
No, the college is in Charlottesville.
Yeah. Which also made the news earlier in the year. Last year. Well, on April 9th in this date, Gregory Pincus, the American scientist, he discovered the birth control pill. What do you think of that? So, wow.
Somebody's got to be happy about that one.
I guess so. So, are you on the pill became a common phrase in our vernacular after 1903. I don't know. I don't remember birth controls being very popular till about the 60s or so. You know, it seemed like we had a lot of people going to Kansas to live with their aunts.
Yeah, that's right. And ne'er shall we forget Operation Weiserbung, which was the German operation to invade Denmark and Norway. Started their campaign today, and it was Operation Weiser Exercise, named after the Weiser River in Germany.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Battle of Bataan on this day in 1941. The reason this is of importance is, there's so much time spent in reference to World War II and Pearl Harbor on December 7th, and yet people fail to realize that the Japanese didn't just attack Pearl Harbor. They started an attack all the way down the Pacific, all the way to Bataan, and ultimately to Indonesia, because they needed the fuel and minerals and everything to sustain their military. So there you
go. Okay. So you don't want to talk about Marian Anderson?
Oh, sure, of course.
I mean, you just jumped into the war.
Well, I just, me.
What, you're just such a warmonger, you couldn't wait to.
I was afraid you were going to jump. I didn't know if you were going to jump to like the. Well, go ahead, Marian.
I mean, I was going down the list,
All right, okay. My list's not that big.
Anyway, in 1939, you just don't like her because she's black. Black singer Marian Anderson performed at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. after she was denied the use of Constitution Hall by the Daughters of the American Revolution because of her race. Wow. 1939. Yeah, that was a tough time back then, right? The Civil War still had some open wounds. Back there.
Here we are almost 100 years later, and American conservatives can't use halls on campuses in your country, and it's pretty amazing. Well, what a turnaround! What a turnaround! White privilege, Yeah.
Let's see. Morning from our text line 478-8298. Morning, Tom and Shane. You can help me out and put a little less rain in the forecast. Wet lawns make maintenance just a little difficult. Okay, I will do what I can. I promise no rain after overnight tonight, I guess. And are we offline again? We should be online on the phone and also on the. Are you getting us on computer up there, Shane? So
yes, I am.
Okay, so all right, so hopefully we're there. But yeah, I'll try to work on that weather as best I can. It's pretty tough out there to control, particularly this time of year, because you got cold air and warm air coming up from the south. Did you see what the thing this morning? 92 in Dallas, and it's 29 in Minnesota somewhere, and they got this big line of what's going to be tornadoes, thunderstorms, everything else that's going to be in there. Oh man,
the weather sheets are coming.
It's going to be tough there. So, all right, 1959, NASA announced the selection of America's first 7 astronauts: Scott Carpenter, Gordon Cooper, John Glenn, Gus Grissom, Wally Schirra, Alan Shepard, and Donald Slayton.
Wow! Can you name the 7 dwarfs?
Yeah, they were the top 7. Yeah,
they were. And probably one Well,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta look at it like where it went from there. I mean, the three programs, of course, were Gemini and then Apollo,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it was a pretty remarkable jump that they had. So they went from Mercury, which is one-man capsules, to
Mm-hmm.
Gemini, two men, obviously, and
Right.
Apollo, three men. So
3 men, yeah.
and then four to the moon, or three to the moon. I mean,
Yep. And Grissom and two others were killed, weren't they? When one exploded on takeoff.
uh, no, not on takeoff, on testing,
Well, yeah. I mean, they weren't off the ground. They were sitting
no,
on the ground
on the Apollo program.
yeah, when it blew up. And Grissom was one of them. I wasn't sure. It wasn't Alan Shepard. It might have been Slayton and Schirra. Don't remember.
Well,
Anyway.
well, it's a proud thing, when you figure from the Wright brothers, right?
Oh yeah.
To food, like wow, in less than 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah,
wow.
we're going. Yeah. We're barely flying down the coast of what is it? North Carolina, and now we're
Yeah.
heading to the moon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Why didn't the Wright brothers fly in Ohio, where they were from? Why'd they go to Kitty Hawk?
The beach. The beach.
The beach needed water. They need the air for the
The air. Yep. The beach and the air.
The
That's
beach
right.
air, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, 1969, the album Nashville Skyline by Bob Dylan was released, and so quite a name in music. Obviously, still kicking, I believe, still running around somewhere.
Yeah, refused the Nobel Prize. That's how cool he is.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Why would you want it if Obama got it and some of these other doofuses got it? Al Gore got it. Why would you not refuse it?
Because you want the cash. It comes with cash.
Well, Bob's probably okay.
You think?
He's probably okay on the royalties from what he's all the stuff he's written and sung. So, 1992, former Panamanian ruler Manuel Noriega was convicted in Miami of 8 drug and racketeering charges and never heard from again. So
never heard. Yeah, that was under Bush Senior did that.
Yeah. 2001, the American Airlines parent company acquired bankrupt TWA, Trans World Airlines.
Amazing, yeah. Now, we talked about Howard Hughes, and Howard Hughes started Trans World Airlines in 1930.
Yeah.
And American Airlines, they came around, they came around, I think it was 1930 also. Yeah, the same year. Anyway, it was amazing, the transition, because by the time that they bought Trans World, Howard Hughes was out of it, and we talked. Yeah,
sure, yeah,
that was one of his losses.
Well, bless his heart, poor man. I tell you,
poor billionaire.
Poor billionaire. I don't know how you can handle that, but well, let's see. They just came out with the airline report too that Delta was number one. By the way, Delta is the only airline that doesn't have those 737 MAX X planes. They don't have any of them. So if you want to fly Delta, you can be safe assured, even though those planes are still grounded. But if they are back in the air and you don't want to fly one just in case, you can go Delta because they don't have any of them. So hop on Delta and go wherever you want. And you won't have to worry about crashing in one of those Max 8s or whatever they are. All right. American Airlines, I think, was something like 8th or 9th. Frontier was the last, I think.
Yeah.
And American Airlines, of course, they had a lot of problems with dragging people off the planes and what. I don't know. They had all kinds of issues going on.
And then there was Western Airlines.
Yeah.
And Northwest Airlines, those all flew into Montana.
Yeah. Well, Northwestern Airlines, I think, was acquired by Delta.
Delta, yeah. It was.
Yeah. 2003, a jubilant Iraqi celebrated the collapse of Saddam Hussein's regime, beheading a toppled statue of their longtime ruler in downtown Baghdad back in 2003. Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
You just don't realize it was 19 years ago. It's just, Wow.
I know. Pretty amazing, yeah. 2000, go ahead.
No, never mind. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say in 2005, Britain's Prince Charles married Camilla Parker Bowles, who took the title Duchess of Cornwall. And that proves, Shane, that two very unattractive people, there's someone for everyone. That's probably...
You can't find a significant other.
I was going to say, man, their children would have hooves. I'm pretty sure. Boy. I don't know, man.
That would be scary.
No mirrors in their homes, I would think, but I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't see anybody of any notable birthdays here. Lambeau, I guess, Curly Lambeau. Lambeau Field, Green Bay Packers play. Curly Lambeau was born in the state in 1898, died in 1965 at the age of 67. J. William Fulbright was an American senator of some note. Born in the state in 1905, died at the age of 90 in 95. So
there you are.
So I don't know. That's our day in history. Wow, pretty short day.
Sure. But what's important is some British royalty was had a day, what is it with these people? Oh, they've been around for 1,000 years.
Well, yeah. We didn't have anybody in 15 or 1600 today. I guess they took the day off. Didn't behead anybody or anything. So, well, okay. We've got no Montana News and Agriculture. We've got no Headwaters Livestock Report. So, what would normally be a 3 or 4 minute break, we'll be back in 30 seconds. So stay tuned. With no music, by the way. All right. Da-da, 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 da-da. Music, da-da-da, music, da-da. Yeah, you can tell.
I want, I'd sing, but I want to keep my day job.
Well, yeah. Had I known, I'd have brought my guitar in. Just play some stuff. All right. Well, 23 minutes after the hour. I don't know that we ever even introduced the show or not. This is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor. And Shane Tobin on the line with us in Vancouver, British Columbia. Once again, making do with less, doing more with less. That's why we're here.
But, the righteous eagle man gets the job done.
We'll get the job done no matter what. Well, no Jeff Krause today. Jeff is out traveling around the country. He'll be back next week. And so in the 8 o'clock hour, I think we're going to try calling some robocall people and see if we can have a little fun with them and see what they have to say about, they're going to arrest me and, my Social Security number's been canceled And boy,
you mean we're going to play the NSA?
I'm sure. Yeah, we're going to play the NSA. So
we'll tell them it's the NSA calling.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll want some money from me to set things right. What do you think?
I hope we get a person on the phone.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We have to legally tell them, of course, they're being recorded and they're on the radio. So the FCC says you gotta do that. You can't ambush them. So I don't think any of them are going to be on the line very long. But maybe we'll just keep calling them back. If they keep hanging up on us, because we'll probably get a different operator each time. We'll just keep calling them back and seeing what happens. So should be fun. So hang around for that. We're going to do that in the 8 o'clock hour. So let's see. Also, too, the other thing we should remember is that we have a message thing now on KMMS on your smartphone.
A message thing?
A message thing, yeah, on your smartphone.
I thought it was an app.
Well, I don't. It's an app within our app, then.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's an app within our app.
All right.
Okay, so there we are.
Come on, we got lots of time today. Come on.
So, boy, I don't know. So anyway, we got this app thing.
All right. Tell me about the app thing.
Okay. Well, if you know
I use it. I don't know about you. I enjoy it. I use it.
Well, if you want to go, if you don't want to bother with the texting of us, just open your KMMS app, and right next to listen to us, you'll see a button that says message. All you do is press that and type in your message, and that'll be shot over to Shane and myself. And that might be an easier way to reach us than texting, and we can answer you, of course, and whatever.
And I like the app too, folks, because you get great news on it. You know,
Yeah.
you really do. It's better than Google News.
Yeah,
Because you get Montana news and national news and political news.
that's true. Yeah.
So you'll get a better round of news and information than you would going on the big wheel.
You're right. Yeah, than you would otherwise. Yeah. Also, our poll question of the day: do you know how to use chopsticks? And your answers are yes, use a fork, no, or stab the food with a chopstick.
In this rating,
Yeah.
What is your preference? Japanese food or Chinese food?
Boy, I'm hard to tell the difference.
Really?
Well, I know one of them's got egg rolls. I don't know which one.
That's
I know
Chinese.
another one's got Kung Pao chicken or something. I don't have a clue which one that is. And
That's Chinese too.
Is it? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sushi rolls. You like sushi rolls?
Oh yeah. I'm not a big fan of bird's nest soup, but not sure what that one is either. But I don't know. I just if it's got some symbols on the outside, I just go in. It might be Japanese. It might be Taiwanese. Who knows?
Dare I ask you, like ginger?
I'm not sure what ginger tastes like.
Ginger root.
Not a clue. Not a clue. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. The chopsticks, not a chance. Have the Chinese not seen the fork? Have they not seen the fork? I mean, come on.
There.
I mean,
well, it's hard to eat noodles and rice with chopsticks.
well, it is. I mean, come on. How do you got to have the rice in big chunks. It can't be cooked and loose.
That's right.
You got to shovel it. You got to hold the thing up to your mouth and shovel it in with the chopsticks. I mean, come on.
That's why they made sticky rice, so it would stick together.
Sticky rice. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I think as soon as the Chinese saw the fork, they would say, oh, geez, we're done with this.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But they still...
The fork and the spoon? I mean, come on. You got to be an idiot. You got to be an idiot to use two sticks to eat with. I mean...
Well,
what do they feed babies with? Toothpicks?
Yeah, but the point is with chopsticks, you can eat a smaller amount of food longer, so you think you're eating a lot.
Really? Yeah. So I can't pick up a whole thing of whatever, huh? Can't pick up all those Chungking chicken things and down it?
With a fork, you can just pile it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, all right.
All right, so do you like wasabi?
It's hot. Yeah. I don't mind spicy stuff. I'm all right. So anyway,
so you like
we gotta go. All right.
Bye.
It's the bottom of the hour. All right. Well, we're making do more with less. We don't have any music or anything like that, but it seems like we are going to have most of the commercials look like they're going to play, except for Babbel. Babbel's not playing, so thankfully for that. And Kitabaloo's done, so life is good. It's Tuesday, April 8th, 2019, 40 degrees outside. Shane and I'll be right back right after this. All right, we're back. We don't have any bumper music today, so Tommy Goloff, your morning mayor. Shane Matabin, half man, half amazing in Vancouver, British Columbia. And today is Tuesday. It's April the 9th. Shane, the 9th. It's April the 9th. So I don't know. I must have said April the 8th or 7th or something else. Who knows? I don't know. The text is too small to figure out what day it is. So anyway, it's April 9th, 2019, 40 degrees outside. And we're excited to be here with you. And let's see, in local news, what about Netanyahu's challenger? What do you think, Shane? Any chance of Netanyahu getting booted out over there?
Well, the Likud party probably will do well. They won't get a majority because they never do.
Yeah.
And he'll have to form a minority government with probably 5 or 6 smaller parties, that only have 1 or 2 members of the Knesset. But I think he'll come through. It's pretty harsh for them to make a major change right now with what's going on. Yeah.
Well,
I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I agree with you there. I think changing horses in midstream with all the things they've got going on right now. And also they've got a favorable, they have a favorable impression of Trump in Israel because of, moving the embassy and the Golan Heights deal and all of that, and support of Netanyahu. So I think a lot of the voters would probably want to keep Trump on their side, for whatever reason, because he has indicated, unlike Obama, that, we're an ally and we're ready to come to your defense if need be. So I think he's got a good shot of making it, but I agree with you. I think they want a change in government. They want to go in a different direction. They don't mind him leading it, but they want new ideas.
And a big help was yesterday, Secretary of State announcing the Iranian Guard as a terrorist group, because that confirms to not only the world but the Israelis, the Americans are supporting him, and it's a really important thing, because one of the things about the Middle East that's so bizarre is Iran is Persia, and an Arab's worst enemy is Persia before it's Israel. Yeah. that's what's so amazing, right? So, I don't know.
From our text line, 478-8298. This will get me fired, Shane.
No, really?
Maybe you should have taken up a collection and paid the ransom. I'll volunteer to pay that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll pay for it. I don't know what they were asking.
But that does happen a lot with these hackers. They'll hack hospitals or banks and then demand a ransom, for Bitcoin.
That's where it works. And I maybe it asked for too much. I don't know. I'm still using the same board George Carter did, and of course my music won't play. So what does that tell you about our finances here at Town Square Media?
It's great to be American, because if you're being paid in Canadian, it'd be 30%.
Well, that's right. Yeah, nobody wants Canadian money, so I don't know. So anyway, so much for that from our text line this morning.
All right. All right. Local news. Come on.
Local news. Yeah, we got to talk about the local stuff because, we got Colstrip again. Current and former members of the Montana Public Service Commission lined up Monday to speak about a bill that would allow Northwestern Energy to purchase a share of a coal-fired power plant without commission oversight. And Northwestern and its supporters argued the legislation would let the utility quickly take advantage of any opportunity to obtain reliable baseload power from the Colstrip power plant while avoiding a long pre-approval or approval process before the commission and a possible court challenge by environmental groups opposed to using coal to generate power. And the bill would allow Northwestern to spend up to $75 million over 10 years for investment in upgrades, repairs, meeting environmental requirements, and all of that. And Northwestern spokesman David Hoffman said building a similar size natural gas-powered plant would cost about $250 million. So Colstrip's two older units are scheduled to shut down by mid-2022 under a legal settlement, and the bill seeks to extend the life of the plant's two newer units, units 3 and 4, as other Colstrip co-owners in Washington and Oregon look at reducing their use of coal energy. So Northwestern owns 220 megawatts of generating capacity and would like approval to buy another 150 of generation, giving it ownership of about half of Unit 4. So let's...
Well, and of course, you know why. I mean, because, they buy 60% of the power that BC Hydro produces for 30 cents under the dollar.
Yeah, I know. Got to buy it somewhere.
Yeah, well, we the West Coast lights up every night, folks, because of Canada.
That's right. Yeah, our grid comes from Canada on the East Coast, anyway. So
no, the West Coast, or the northeast from Quebec.
Oh, that's right, Quebec.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of.
Quebec was.
Quebec. So So hopefully they'll keep winning the Stanley Cup so they can keep the lights on. I don't know. Well, the logging save our Gallatin Front.
Oh, my God.
This just won't go away. It's the guests that wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
A check has been delivered after a quick fundraising effort. Save Our Gallatin Forest had more cash than they needed to pay for a 25-year logging deferral south of Bozeman. So instead of following a 3-year payment plan, the group delivered a check for more than $400,000 to the Montana Department of Natural Resources and Conservation on Friday. And now they're waiting for the final signatures on the conservation license contract. So once that's finished, the group will officially hold the first conservation license ever used to block an entire logging project in Montana. In this case, as we told you many times, 443 acres of the state, a little west of Mount Ellis in Montana. So.
You know, for an industry in the last 100 years that has developed environmental standards to protect the renewable resource, you know, there's very little or no, there's no, you know, major cuts in forest anymore. It's, you know, it's pretty much pick and take.
Yeah.
And, you know, why didn't someone put this group on an airplane and let them fly over your, you know, over your mountains and see how much timber's out there? I mean, they have no idea how much timber you have in your state. Like, it's very strange.
No, I don't think they do. Well, you know, this is just another way of, you know, we don't want to burn wood. We don't want to process wood. You know, we want it there for the generations of the future. And, you know, my question is, are they going to take care of this land? Are they going to prune it? Are they going to maintain it? Are they going to clean up the floor? Are they're just going to sit there and watch it burn?
No, well, maybe.
I was going to say, more likely they will sit there and watch it burn. And what will that cost the state? I'm guessing more than $400,000. So I don't know. So I guess we'll see. So. All right, another short break, Shane. It is 1 minute, 1 second, 0.93, and we'll be back.
There you go.
Hang on. Well, no music there.
I noticed
again.
that.
That's all right.
Hey, well, listen, by the way, props goes out to that sergeant that played your national anthem on the sax last night at the opening of the national championship. I mean, wow, I have to tell you, you know, to me, it's just pomp and circumstance. It was all American, and boy, did he hammer that sax, baby. It was unbelievable. And it set chills up my back. And the last time that happened, I just want everyone to know, because some of them out there my age may remember, Kate Smith and God Bless America. I was going to call you and say, could you tune up Kate Smith, God Bless America?
And we have Kate Smith, God Bless America. If only I could play it for you.
Yeah, I know.
But no,
she
it ain't
was
there.
Famous. Yeah, she was famous back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah.
Singing God Bless America at hockey games, right?
Yeah.
And
well, a lot of people think...
Boston in particular.
Yeah. A lot of people think God Bless America or America the Beautiful should be our national anthem instead of the one we have, you know, because it's easier to sing. It's more about America than it is about, you know, the rockets' red glare and the bombs bursting in air and all that, you know. Is that what we really want to sing about when we celebrate America? But we got to, you know, it does ring back to our freedom, you know, the fighting for our freedom and winning it from we won it from, who was it, the Burmese? Yeah.
So, you're great. I love it.
So anyway, I'm a history buff.
Your fill-in is wonderful. Yeah. I love it.
So anyway, I like the Star Spangled Banner. It always gives me chills. I remember when I first moved here, went to a basketball game here at MSU down at the field house. You know, I'm sitting there with you know, the people that brought me to the game, and I'm looking up in the upper end of the brick breeding field house, and there's these kids running back and forth. You know, they're playing tag and running around and whatever. You know, and I said, oh, that's kind of nice. You know, kids are up there just kind of playing around. And they started playing the national anthem. And I looked up there again, and all these kids have stopped. They got their hats off. They got their hands over their hearts. And I said, man, I'm home. This is what I've been waiting for.
Oh yeah, you and I went to school, and the first thing we did in the morning was we would say
Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah.
Pledge of Allegiance and a prayer, and then get to work.
Yep,
right?
that was it. Yep, that's
not,
what we.
Not now.
That's
not
what
now,
we did.
baby.
Not anymore. No, that's that ain't gonna work. So
No.
I don't know. So well, we'll see what happens when all this plays out.
Well, I don't even think the millennials in the country know the Pledge of Allegiance.
Maybe not, because they didn't actually grow up with it as we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a shame, I mean, there's, I understand the under God in it, and okay, okay, it might not be your God, or maybe you don't believe in God or whatever, but still, it's your country, and, it's sort of a mission statement for the country is what it is.
And for children, it's the first awareness of their country.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
and from there they go on to come to appreciate what their country's about and what it means and what it has done for them. Everybody talks about what it should do for them, especially the Democrats. I mean, they keep forgetting John F. Kennedy's inaugural address. Right?
Yeah.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Very strange. Very strange.
Well, that's where we've moved in the. In today's vernacular, I guess, what can I get free? I want free education.
Yeah, exactly.
I want free schooling. I want food stamps. I want a free phone. I want a free car. I want a low cost house. I want everybody to take care of me. And if it's not my fault that I'm where I am, it's your fault for. The rich have all the money and I don't have anything. Oh, poor me.
Well, I mean, when the Democrats have their 18 people on stage taking questions.
Yeah.
My first question to all of them is, can you tell me JFK's most famous line from his inauguration address?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. None of them want to say if they say they can't, they're going to look stupid. And if they say they can, they're not going to want to say it, right? So that's a gotcha question.
All right. From our text line, is this group of idiots that bribe their way to owning our timber going to be responsible the city of Bozeman when it burns? We just asked that. And these people are so stupid, they cannot see the proverbial forest for the trees. I can't talk this morning, Shane. I just can't. If it goes up, Bozeman is done. Well, that's probably right. The watershed should not be used or should not be usable for years. And so there you are. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I guess I understand the issue that, if a private group can outbid somebody for some land, I guess it's their land. But I don't know that I have to, agree with it all that much. But
well, 70 years ago, I mean, you fly over BC and the clear cutting done in the high country here was massive, and it's the only benefit from it were the logging trails gives people access. To go up there, go fishing or hunting. That's about it, right? Other than that, the trees are still growing back. But it's but one of the things the biggest cause I don't think people realize of the forest industry was telephone poles.
Yeah,
and we should talk about telephone poles one day because it's astounding how many telephone poles there are in North America, and railroad ties because they were all made with wood, but. Wow, it's a pretty amazing thing.
Yeah. Well, in other news, we had a 17-year-old kid that survived a bear attack by a grizzly bear, if you can believe that, Shane. Yeah. A bear mauled a teenager who was looking for shed antlers in the southern part of the Madison Valley on Sunday. A 17-year-old suffered minor injuries, according to news release. The release said the boy was hunting for sheds in the Wolf Creek area on the east side of the valley, about 30 miles south of Ennis, and his family had a cabin in the area. And he told the FWP that he was walking downhill about 2 p.m. when he heard the noise behind him, when he turned around, he saw a bear charging at him. He wasn't able to deploy bear spray immediately, but the release said the bear briefly pushed him against the tree. Then the bear dropped him. The teen tried to crawl between two trees and protect his head. Then the bear pinned him to the ground. While face down underneath the bear, he reached over his shoulder and sprayed the bear spray, which got the bear to leave. So, yeah, that was pretty scary for a 17-year-old.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting because I believe it's elk, right, that shed their horns, right, and they grow them back. But it's an interesting thing when you do go in the southeast part of Montana. You go walking in the mountains or Bob Marshall Wilderness or Yellowstone Park, and you'll see the elk antlers all over the place. It's quite fascinating.
Yeah.
Well,
my advice still is stay out of the woods.
Of course it is.
Don't go in the woods.
That's because you live in the wilderness. You're already in the woods.
Go in the woods if you got a bear cat. Don't get out of your car. Whatever you're on, stay in it.
That's right. It's like being on a safari in Africa.
That's right. Don't get out of your car.
Don't get out of your car. And don't feed the animals.
Don't feed the animals, yeah. From our text line, 478-8298, we're going to end up like Paradise, California.
There you go. No, that's not good.
With all the logging and everything, we're just we're going to pave whatever the environmentalists let us pave, and then everything else is just going to be there for whatever. So,
Power and Gas in California is going to get whacked with all those lawsuits because of that fire.
They will. So.
They'll go down again. Bankrupt.
All right. Let's take another break. 59.52 seconds. We'll be back. 6 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Tuesday, April 9th, 2019. 40 degrees outside. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house. And you're listening to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane and Tobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. And we're talking a little local news, things that are going on here, Shane, and other things happening on the local front, I guess I should say, is we've got a bunch of names for the high school.
Okay, all right.
Going on, and I don't know, but thankfully the board has approved the signs for the high school. We've got signs. All right. The $91 million new school under construction at Oak and Cottonwood is 45% completed and within budget, according to the latest update. But we are going to have all the signs. The signs on Bozeman's second high school will say Gallatin High School. All right, there you go.
So, you can't miss your favorite topic in Bozeman.
What's that?
Bozeman leaders update building fees. Like they're going to increase building fees, like taxes. This is it's like seeing royalty every day in this day in history. Like almost every day you have a story about your city government or raising fees or taxes. It's amazing.
Well, they also voted 5-1 to leave the word Bozeman off the sign. So I guess they were going to make it Bozeman Gallatin High School or Gallatin Bozeman High School or Gallatin High School Bozeman or something. I don't know. So anyway, I guess that's too long for the business cards and stuff. So they're going to put it on. It's just going to be Gallatin High School.
They should abbreviate it and come up with an anagram. That's what everyone does, right?
Yeah. Well, it'd be GHS. It'd be GHS. Isn't that the date rape drug?
Oh my gosh! It's before 7 o'clock in the morning. Come on!
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't know. These things just fly in there from somewhere. I don't know where they come from. Well,
GHS. I guess the anagram would be Go Haas.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that. We were looking at the top 5 the other day. I think the Geysers, the Trout. I don't know. Some of the names are just. I don't know. I don't think they would. I don't think any of the top 5 names are going to strike fear into the hearts of other football players. The opposing team.
If the anagram becomes Go Haas, they should honor Haas Cartwright and everybody wear those 10-gallon hats.
Right? Yeah. Well, I don't know, but
Bring back the cowboy hat.
Yeah, something like that. So, boy, I don't know. It's not good. So, well, I don't know. They'll unanimously, they voted unanimously to approve Superintendent Rob Watson's procedure for choosing the new high school mascot and colors. The transition committee chose 24 mascot options last week and nearly 300 suggestions from the public. The 24 mascots and 11 color combinations will be presented in a few days to Bozeman, Montfortin, and Gallatin Gateway students in grades 6 to 9 who will attend the new school. And I guess maybe they'll have some input into if they want to be the trout or the geysers or the slopes or whatever else they want to be. So,
but shouldn't they play this like the Sweet 16, and then the 8, the Magic 8, and the Big 4, and then down
you think so, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Just to get some feedback.
Who gets the votes on these things? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the feedback they got last time was horrific, right?
Well, just the name of the school. The public said no to that, so maybe they'll say no to the mascots because I tell you, man, some of them are pretty lame. I don't know. I still like the Stormcastle Knights, but anyway, that doesn't go with the school, I guess. So I don't know. Maybe it could be the Knights, just the Gallatin, the Gallatin High School Knights.
That would be good.
That would be good. Yeah, they could wear armor. They'd be the Knights. They could
that's right.
Take jousting sticks out on the football field with them and probably win more games.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Poke the center.
That's right.
That'll work.
Take somebody out, right?
Right. I don't know. Oh well, I don't know. Gonna be interesting. Let's take a quick phone call before we have to take a break. Caller, you're on the air. What's up?
They should just be honest and call it the Bozeman Bolsheviks.
Well, there you are. I like that. All right, thanks, man. The Bozeman Bolsheviks works for me. Hey, look at that. We've at least got our Hotel California solo at the bottom of the hour or top of the hour. Right. So we do have some music in there. So, all right. Thanks a lot. All right. Shane and I will be back coming up at, there's no Jeff Krause today. No Jeff Krause today. And 8 o'clock, we're going to call some robocallers. So we're going to call them back. They sent us messages. We're under arrest or in desperate need or something. I don't know. Identity theft, all that stuff. So we're going to call a few of them and see if we can have a little fun with them. So, all right, we'll be back right after the news, top of the hour. 3 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m., it is Tuesday, April 9th, 2019, 40 degrees outside. Shane and Tobin on the line with me from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. And boy, we got to do 5 things you need to know, Shane.
Indeed. Here we go, buddy.
All right. What are the 5 things we need to know?
Well, the first one, of course, is a big shakeup at Department of Homeland Security.
Yes.
And I have 5 solutions.
5 solutions. Wow.
Yes. My first solution is arrest the 600,000 illegal immigrants in your country that have already gone through the court process in the last 2 or 3 years and have ignored their the request for them to return to their country. Find them all, arrest them, send them back home by plane so they can tell everyone, gee, not a good idea to go there.
Yeah.
Number 2, FEMA trailers. FEMA's got tens of thousands of trailers that they have just packed, stored in storage because of natural disasters. Ship some down there, set up camps to hold them in them, families in particular. And then number 3, set up the courts right there. And anyone that you're concerned about, and we've talked about this before, like anyone that are like people that have a criminal record or anything,
right?
Fly them to Guantanamo, baby. Like, Bush did from Haiti. 55,000 people from Haiti went after the earthquake to Guantanamo. And let's see, what was my other one? Obviously, send specific legislation to Pelosi and the House on what to change. Like, literally sent the written legislation up so you can talk about it on TV. And My biggest, favorite, most powerful play is remittances to Mexico from all the illegal aliens in the U.S. It's a simple order by the U.S. Treasury to stop it, and it's billions of dollars. And believe me, Mexico will listen to that one for sure.
I believe the Supreme Court would listen to it too.
Oh, they can't stop that because
why not?
Because there's precedent on it. There's precedent on it already.
There is.
Yep.
Well, how come it's still going off? There's precedent.
No, I can look up the precedent specifically, but they just haven't chosen to do this because there's all kinds of precedent with regards to other countries in the past and issues that the U.S. has had about remittances to other countries where they've done it in your history. So I can look up the precedent.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious. I just don't think the Supreme Court will tell people. I mean, if they're here and you can't kick them back across the border once they touch our soil, it seems like they could send money back. They could send money home if they wanted to.
Well, they are. And
I know they are.
It's a major part, but I'm just telling you that the Secretary of the Treasury, at the direction of the President, can stop the remittances. And by the time it gets to court, Mexico will concede because, I mean, a week of those remittances would hugely affect the Mexican economy.
Well, it probably would, but I bet it would go to court pretty quickly. Because I think every Hispanic group in the world would bring an action, and they would find somebody in the Ninth Circuit would say, "Oh no, we're not stopping that money going anywhere."
Well, okay. Well, I still have.
Yeah, I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just telling you. I'm basing this on all the common sense things I've heard that the courts have just thrown out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, like yesterday, right?
Yeah.
The 14 people now have to be able to come back because they filed a claim, and the Ninth Circuit upheld their claim. And I just don't understand how your courts allow foreign people who are legally breaking the law. Yeah. That they should have standing.
We don't understand it either. But as soon as they set foot on our soil, you mentioned it earlier. Cuban people come from Cuba. They get on American beaches and they're home free. Haiti, they're sent back.
That's right.
So what's the deal?
Well, Reagan and Bush had a different opinion of it, right?
Apparently. So I don't know. It seems, but yeah, Homeland Security, the whole southern border. At least everybody now believes it is a national emergency. I haven't heard anything about where the money is for the national emergency or when the wall. I know they're building a wall with some of the money they got already, and Trump went down and showed some of it. But but I don't know where where's the $5 billion, $7 billion, whatever we need. Where's the Corps of Engineers, or where's the bids, or have they purchased the land from the landowners? What's the deal?
Well, I just think that the best way to stop this is to explain there's a consequence for you to be sent back, and that's making sure these people that have been ordered back and are ignoring the order, which again they're breaking the law again.
Yeah,
they should be rounded up and sent back. I know this is probably not a positive thing to some people, but if there's no consequence as a result of something you do illegal is positive, right?
Well, and all the
negative. Yeah.
All the ICE opponents are going to say, "Oh yeah, you're going to brown shirt these poor people that just want a better life back to their slums and their squalor and their gang violence and all of that." What kind of a human being could you possibly be?
Well, and number 6 is the Republican Party has to stop calling them migrants and calling them refugees. Because if you change the word, it becomes a whole different opinion to American people.
Yeah. Well, legally too. You've got the UN involved if they're refugees, and then you've got rules on what to do with refugees and how to handle them and all of that. So yeah, they're not migrants. They're they're not migrating from one place to another just because, well, it seemed like a good thing to do on Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're tired of being shot at and beaten to death and all of that, so we're leaving.
Yeah,
we're going somewhere else.
Yeah. Today's a big day for the Crazy Gate. Mm-hmm. The demolition party is going to be questioning Attorney General William Barr.
Yep.
So this is going to be good television.
Oh yeah.
If you to watch, so that'll be interesting.
It will be.
And we talked about Israel and that there, and we talked about the judge that blocked Trump's program. But it's just one of these situations. District Court Judge Richard Seaborg in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Federal Judge of the Ninth Circuit. Oh, there you go. Must make you feel happy to see this going on. Well,
the Ninth Circuit is becoming more conservative as the appointments that Trump has made are confirmed, and they've still got a ways to go. There's 9 of them, and usually 3 at a time, I think.
That's right.
Rule,
yeah. Right, and there's 3 to be replaced on it right now, and so that was it took 2 years, but finally, the head of the Senate from Kentucky there,
McConnell
on Friday, McDonald, yeah, he called closure now and to our debates to get these other nominees, not just those, but the other ones that the Democrats have been blocking. So, hopefully that'll make a significant difference with 3 conservatives on the Ninth Circuit, at least. Trump's getting the job done through the process, through the system.
Yep. Well, we'll see how it goes. But, William Barr is going to be on the he's going to be on the hot seat today, and be interesting to watch that. I'm sure the news stations will cover that live. So,
well, the interesting thing is it's a standard yearly visit to the appropriations committee to, for the budget. What he's going to do with it.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what those.
I don't think they're going to talk much about the budget.
I don't think so either.
If you want to know the truth.
I know that's the truth.
Yeah. I was going to say, they owe Mueller $25 million. So what's the deal?
Well, again, the only thing to add to this is that Mueller's people didn't leak anything for the entire period they did the investigation. Great. Then some people, apparently the New York Times talked to him and said, well, he didn't entirely explain what the report said. They didn't come out and leak and say, no, the report did not, vindicate him. Well, clearly it has. And so, again, they're carrying the water. These Democrats are carrying this story. I don't know. Crazy Gate, man. It's Crazy Gate.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I wrote a blog that'll be out tomorrow about Trump's income tax. So go over to KMMSAM.com tomorrow, and you can see what I.
You're not going to give us a teaser? Come on, where's the tease?
Well, I'll give you a tease that there's 2 kinds of tax returns. There's a personal tax return. There's corporate tax returns, and if you want to audit Procter and Gamble.
Oh, good luck.
I was going to say, how many divisions do they have, or PepsiCo,
General Electric has 15,000 subsidiaries worldwide. Can you imagine that one?
Yeah, wow. And they're all incorporated entities, so they're all going to file their own individual tax returns. So, what do you want to see, and how long is it? Fine. If I was Trump, I'd turn over all the corporate ones and say, good luck. 2024 will be long gone before you get through the first one.
Exactly.
So I don't know what they think I don't know what they think they're going to find. Also in tomorrow's blog, there's also a link to Trump's only public tax return of 2005.
Excellent.
And there's also a tax return of Bernie Sanders. So I
saw that. You sent it to me.
So you can look at Bernie's tax return, and he and his wife dual incomes, and figure out how he owns 3 homes.
That's right.
with what he makes. So
Yeah,
figure that out and see if that tax return will give you any insight.
Well, and the thing about Bernie, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but politically speaking, this whole issue with his wife and the college that she ran and what she did, you would think that would disqualify him. I'm sorry, but you'd think it would, but the press doesn't want to talk about it. Yes, she was investigated. There was no criminal charges laid, but just on the basis of what he represents and says on the and then to see what his wife did, salary she took, what happened to that school, you would think that this whole thing about free education, well, it didn't work so well at your wife's school.
Yeah. What's the deal, huh?
Anyway, we'll see. All interesting. It's like Kamala Harris, and the whole issue she's going to have to deal with about her family, being the largest slave owners in Jamaica, right? Her grandparents.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is she guilty of that?
Well, but they're talking about reparations and all of these things, and it's one of these issues that I think will come up in the debates and stuff. We'll see, but I just think it's important.
Yeah, I wrote a blog about reparations back in 2012, I think. So
you're always ahead of the game.
I know, I always am. So
you are,
but reparations are just not possible.
Well, how?
That's what I mean. How are you gonna decide who gets what? How are you gonna trace your lineage? All of that stuff. And even if you can, how long do you get paid and how much? Is it forever, the rest of your life? And then what about your kids? Do they get it for the rest of their lives? And when does it end?
Well, the incredible thing is why would the Democrats want this play when any kind of commission that's set up would tell the American people, oh, the party of slavery, the Democrats. Oh, the party of Jim Crow laws, the Democrats. I mean, and on and on and on. I mean, why would they want their history, brought up in a commission about slavery?
Yeah. Well, that's certainly something to think about. But, as I said, you not only have, if you want to make reparations to somebody, it seems like the American Indians would be first in line.
But poorly managed, they have had, support from your government for,
that's
for 200 years.
Well, the ones that are independent and are not dependent on government are doing quite well. The reservations that are dependent on government suck. So
and you happen to have this is a similar problem we share with our tribal lands up here. The councils manage the money. Well, corruption.
Well,
right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But, a lot of them, they have their own banks. They got to set up their own banking system, their own law enforcement and all the stuff. And they're living quite well because they're living the capitalist, society and, still maintaining their heritage and all the other things that go along with being that. So, But again, what do you do about the Japanese? They were interned. What about that? What are you going to do for them?
I mean, look at what they lost.
They took all their property, all their valuables, everything, So what, do they get reparations too then?
Well, we did it. Yeah. We had a commission on this with the Japanese, and what we did to them, we interned them and send them to Kelowna and the Kamloops to internment camps. And they lost everything on the West Coast, everything, their land, their bank accounts, all their personal life. They just put them on trains and sent them there.
Yeah.
And after the war, they stayed and created the fruit basket of Canada. It's just incredible.
Yeah. Well, from our text line, 478-8298, 40 acres and a mule. That's what we need. That's all we need. That's all we need. That's the reparation. So, all right. Hey, no babble. So we'll be back in 30 seconds. So hang on. 20 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock is Tuesday, April 9th, 2019. Shaman Tobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eaglehoff, your morning mayor. You're on the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane, and happy to have you along with us today. We're in the middle of 5 things you need to know, and no Jeff Krause today. Jeff is out traveling, so in the 8 o'clock hour, we are going to be doing some robocalls. We're going to call some of these people back that threatened us and see what's up with that. And also on my blog today is the interview we did with Attorney General Tim Fox on robocalls. And also in that blog are a list of the best robocall blockers. So you can go through the list and see if there's any in there that might interest you. Some of them are free. Some of them are, they have a free version or they have a paid version, whatever. Sometimes the free ones are with ads or something or whatever. But anyway, there's a list of those there. And so check that out and listen to the interview with Attorney General Tim Fox that we did last Friday.
And the word of the day for other shows: download.
That's right. Download our shows. We are at. Let me open that up. We are at 627 downloads of our shows.
It's growing, baby.
We're growing. Yeah, we're doing quite a bit here. Several a day, many of them in multiple figures. So we really appreciate you guys supporting the show and downloading and listening to us when you can't. And it just makes the show a little more fun. And it's commercial free, and so you can just play it, and you don't have to sit through Babel or Kitabaloo or anything else that you don't want to hear. So. But yeah, we're pretty pleased with 627 downloads of 120 shows that we've done. So that's pretty good. That's about 5 episodes or 5 per show, a little over 5 downloads per show. So we appreciate you guys out there very much supporting us because, at best we're guessing what to do here. Poll question of the day: do you know how to use chopsticks? Your answer: yes, no, use a fork, or stab the food with a chopstick.
So what's the winner? Who's winning?
Right now, yes is in the lead with 40%. Well, it's a tie. Use a fork, and yes are tied at 40%.
Of course, it's a tie. Yeah.
Obviously, it's early. We don't have a lot of votes yet, so get over there and vote on our poll question at KMMSAM.com or on our app, AM 1450 KMMS on your phone, and be happy to entertain all of that with you.
And a hint for all those guys, if you take a nice woman out for dinner to a sushi bar or to Chinese food, make notice if she uses chopsticks or not, because if she eats with a fork, you eat with a fork. Do not outshine her.
Really?
No, you shouldn't use chopsticks if your date doesn't use them. No.
So if she's using chopsticks...
No, if she's using a fork, you should use a fork.
Okay, well, if she's using chopsticks, I'm using a fork.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course you are, but you're not going to go there. So this is not advice for you.
Okay, I was going to say, no second date, but...
Yeah, that's right.
I'll be all right. Why not? Oh, jeez. All right, let's see. Okay, so Barr is going to be in front of the Justice... the Appropriations Committee talking about the budget, and I bet I don't anticipate a single question about the budget being offered in that little get together there. So I don't know.
Congressman
Netanyahu and the Israelis need to decide between Netanyahu and who's the other? Who's the other guy?
It tells you on that.
Yeah.
Benny Gantz.
Yeah, Benny Gantz. Yeah, there you go. All right, I knew I'd find it there somewhere. Benny Gantz. What a name for a politician, huh?
Exactly right. I mean, Netanyahu's lawn signs have to be. That's a lot of letters. Gantz is Gantz.
Yeah.
Wow, that's simple, but
that's pretty easy. But yeah, Netanyahu's they take up the whole yard. Benjamin Netanyahu.
That's right. Well, yeah,
his yard signs will take up the whole yard.
You grind me about the parties here in Israel. I think there's like 12 parties.
Oh yeah.
And no party has ever won an outright majority in the Kisnet which has 120 or 120 seats would be a majority, and so that's quite interesting. They have around 240 members of their government.
Yeah. So we'll find out probably later today or maybe tomorrow if Netanyahu is going to remain at the head of Israel as their prime minister, or if he's going to take a vacation. See you later.
Yeah. Vacation to court, right?
He'll be a foreign advisor to Trump.
Probably.
There you
go.
Maybe that'll work.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
All right. So, well, here's another thing we were just talking about, with the immigrants, not refugees, the immigrants, that the judge blocks Trump's program forcing asylum seekers to stay in Mexico. He wants them housed in Mexico City till they can have their court date. And the judge says, no, that's not good. And I'll find a law to make it happen.
The other thing that the U.S. can do is have the same treaty they have with us about, second country return, meaning if you go through a country seeking asylum and come to Canada, you have to go back. You have to go back to the U.S. So in this case, the U.S. should get that same treaty with Mexico. Mm-hmm. So anyone coming through Mexico, that should be where they seek asylum, not the U.S., and then they can send them right back. Right. There's simple solutions to these that already exist. I mean, like I said, the U.S. has that treaty with Canada right now. All those people that came across the border 6 months ago, remember we were talking about them, and particularly Somalians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That were coming through the forests in New England into Quebec, right?
Yeah.
All went back to the U.S., so they stopped doing it.
Yeah.
Well, don't have that problem anymore.
A lot of Vietnam guys went to Canada, didn't seem to have any problem.
Well, you're good. You're good. That's good.
I'm just curious as to why some get in, some don't.
Yeah, but they didn't go to Mexico first and then to Canada.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Well, Canada had a better deal.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Let's see. From our text line, 478-8298, give the Irish reparations for the invention of whiskey. There you go.
You look back to the Irish coming to your country, in the 19th century.
Potato famine.
To Ellis Island. Oh, by the way, don't you think they should move the Statue of Liberty to Texas?
Okay.
Anyway, back in the 19th century, the late 1800s into the early 19th, when the millions came from Europe, some of these pictures, these children, I mean, they were all put to work.
Yeah.
That's why child labor laws were finally passed in your country, 100 years ago, was because of it.
Yeah.
So, and it's not like the reparations aren't going to be owed to all kinds of people.
That's true. All right. That gets us to the bottom of the hour. Hey, don't forget, on KMMSAM.com or AM 1450 KMMS, my interview with Tim Fox. And also there's a link to the best robocall preventers. And coming up at the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to call a couple of these guys and see if we can have a little fun with them, see if they'll even talk to us. So we'll find that out at 8 o'clock. No Jeff Krause today. He's traveling. He'll be back next week. Mike McCormick will join us tomorrow. And in the 8 o'clock hour. And from our text line, haven't we already done reparations by implementing affirmative action? Enough is enough. So that may be true. We'll be right back with more right after this. 28 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Tuesday, April 9th. It is April 9th, right? Yeah, April 9th, 2019, 39 degrees outside. We're going in the wrong direction, Jane, but that's okay. And Shane Taubman on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Tom Migaloff, your morning mayor in the house. And we're on the KMMS Morning Soapbox. And a reminder of our poll question of the day. Do you use chopsticks? Yes, no. I prefer the fork, or stab it with the chopsticks. Stab the food with a chopstick. And also, we're going to be doing some robocalls at 8 o'clock. Jeff Krause will not be in today. He is out traveling around the country. And so we're going to call back some of these robocall people and see if we can get them, maybe have some fun with them and see if we can get anybody to talk to us. I think once they find out they're on a recorded line and on the air, probably they're not going to want to engage us too much. So I don't know.
That's right.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they can't understand English that well, but we'll see what's going on. So.
Well, Tom, it's time for you don't have a drum roll because there's no music
Yeah, I don't
today.
have a drum roll or anything.
It's time for the morning 401k update. So here we go, folks.
All
the Dow
right.
Jones is open and it's down at 181. The S&P 500 down 15. NASDAQ 100 down 30. And the Standard & Poor's VIX is moderate and up at 2. The FTSE and the DAX, the CAC in France, and you saw that the yellow vests have collapsed. They had just a few thousand people out this weekend, but the European markets are holding steady. There's nothing major. The big worry we still see, of course, is in Spain because it's just not returning. They're just having a real difficult time with the government there and being able to move forward with any development in their economy. And unemployment rates are still really high, over 20% for youth. Nike exchange is up 40 today, and Shanghai is down 5. The Hong Kong 300 is up 18. Shanghai 50 is up 5. The Kospi in South Korea is up 2.9 cents. Up 2.9. Sorry. Commodities today are looking pretty interesting. Brent is $70.63 in Europe, $63.90 in North America. Nice slide. We want to get back to that 65, as you know. Natural gas is $2.68. Gasoline $1.95 on a national average. Heating oil is just holding at $2, and it's good to see that gold has now moved back over 1,300 to 1,302, up 774. Silver is at 1,526, and the other major minerals are unchanged. Agriculture, soybeans are up to $8.99, almost 900. That's good for farmers. And the storage, they have 2 years of storage of soybeans, so they got lots to sell if they can. Wheat, $4.57. Cotton is $79. Not a surprise there. One of the interesting things I've been watching lately is palm oil. It trades around 2,000, and it's an important additive in a lot of food that's processed food, and that you eat besides corn.
Nutrilla.
And yeah, that's right. And the regular stuff, milk, orange, coca, pretty well holding good. Lumber is $3.45, not showing any strength. And coffee, for all those people out there, is around 94. So no major move in coffee, which everybody worries about because they're cup in the morning. Live cattle is good. Lean hogs up 25 cents to $78, which is great because the Chinese buy a lot of that from their own companies they own here in the U.S. And copper at $2.94, just can't break that $3 level. 4,000 on steel. Molybdenum is one to watch. It's at 25,000, so it's moved ahead pretty good in the last year. Aluminum's down 19 to 1,800, and lithium we're watching is up marginal to 116. Baltic Dry, another one of those markers that I tell you about, 714, so it's over 700. Back 10 years ago and 20 years ago when China was a big trader with the United States, that was at $10,000 a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
$10,000 a day, for one of the big 4 ships that you can rent. So government bonds still under the 10 years 252, the 30 years 291, trying to hold the line there. And finally, folks, currency important to your 401k because so much of your money is invested outside the country in your 401k you don't know about. So Europe is 112. Trying very hard to maintain that price against the U.S. because if it goes part of the U.S., the game is changed. But look at this, the pound sterling 130, so it's up a penny from a week ago. Japan's 110. China, the Japanese trade is on because it's over 100, and of course our Canadian. Well, I guess the Russia or the Chinese 671, but the Russian ruble's doing really well, 64.80 to a U.S. dollar.
All right.
Mexico's 18.90, but Canada's at 134.
All right. There you go.
Here's your 4K wrap up for the day, folks.
All right. And if I only knew what the inflation rate in Venezuela was. Oh, wait, yeah, I do.
Oh, good.
It's 2.296 million % inflation in Venezuela. So we're excited about that. That is just so exciting. From our text line, 478-8298, should we require reparations for the Chinese slaves who built the railroads of our nation? Will the whole nation be subject to Hitler-style ancestry census so that it may be determined who owns who? There you go. Right. Or who owns whom, to be politically correct, I guess, and grammatically correct. So, there's a lot of folks that I think would qualify for reparations of all kinds. You know, we mentioned the Irish. They were certainly discriminated against at the turn of the century when they came, the Chinese coolies building the railroads and slaves there. And, of course, we had the slaves in the South, and we, in turn, the Japanese. You know, the list goes on of the atrocities that I don't know that they're atrocities. I don't think maybe the Indians, but, we talked about the American Indians as well. Probably, they ought to get land with oil on it at least, something.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Of course, they have casinos. They've gotten us back with that. So there you go. So that's their reparations. So, but yeah, I can't believe all these candidates are. Well, everybody asks them if they're for reparations, and they all say yes, but nobody follows up with, okay, who gets it, how much, how long, and how, and
from where?
And from where? Yeah, where's it going to come from? Yeah. It's going to. Canada is my vote. I think Canada should pay for it. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, this is Aaron. How you guys doing?
All right, Aaron. How's it going?
Oh, doing good. Well, if we're talking about reparations, first of all, I don't believe anybody deserves jack. We don't, in this country, we don't hold the children accountable for the sins of the father.
That was the title of my blog. Do we owe for the sins of our fathers?
Well, that was something that they did back in the day. If your father died in debt, then you
were responsible. Yeah,
we don't do that anymore. And second, as far as the slavery reparations, that little amendment that freed the slaves, it didn't free the slaves; it just transferred ownership and declared who the slaves were. Mm-hmm. And the slaves are now owned by the federal and the state governments, and they're the people that are in prison. And so we still have slavery today. So are we going to give those guys reparations? And what about all the drafted individuals that went to war that didn't want to? They were slaves. Mm-hmm. Do we give them reparations? What about all the Iraqis over there that Bush Jr. and Obama were smiting? Do we reparate them? So, like you said, man, the list never ends.
No, it doesn't.
And that's the point to all this. That's
exactly.
The point.
Yeah.
Is it'll never end, and it's just a wedge issue that these politicians want to create. And I think that if I was a black person in this country, I would look more to the white people that bled on that battlefield at Gettysburg and to free them than I would the white people that bled on that same field to keep them enslaved. That's living positively, and it lifts you up and it elevates you mentally, which will do the same socially and economically. But as long as you're looking backwards and you have vengeance and hatred in your heart, you're never going to get anywhere in this world. Spiteful people don't get anywhere. That's just the way it is. So everybody needs to get over this reparations deal. Look forward, be happy. Like Shane says, man. Mm-hmm. He tells you to be happy every day, and you guys should.
Yep. There you go. Right. Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Yeah. Well, Aaron has a point. Certainly, from our text line, 478-8298, isn't welfare enough? So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got something there at least. So let's take another phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, thanks for calling. You're on the air. What's going on?
Well, I went to the Jeff Sessions session last night.
Yeah.
Perhaps not surprisingly, he was happy that Trump has been assigning federal judges to positions all over the nation that follow the Constitution, not human interpretation of the law. But surprisingly, he's not happy with the income divide in this nation. He grew up in a small town, and he could see where if they, speaking like a Southerner, if an air conditioner blew out, it would send their life into chaos for months trying to buy that big ticket item. So he didn't like where people are earning $40,000 and others hundreds of thousands of dollars. He said he's not become a beholder to big money, that he didn't even have somebody run against him in the recent election, so the money didn't even enter in. He says Washington is rolling in money. It's quite corrupt with money, and the little people aren't seeing any of the reforms from that, and don't see that money. Just the high rollers see the money in Washington.
Well, the advice that I have for the people making $40,000 is pick up a mirror, look in it, and I think you'll see the reason why you're making $40,000.
Well, how about the ghost behind the mirror, which is the people that are pulling strings on keeping the money from being better distributed?
Oh, that's an unfair comment. You know that. For the last 200 years, your country has accomplished what mankind hasn't in 7,000 years. You had the Gilded Age of the 1800s that built railroads, industry. You settled issues with slavery over a civil war. And then you came into the 19th century and created an industrial revolution with the car. At the turn of the century in 1900, there were over 600 people trying to build cars. It started in 1885 by a guy named Benz in Germany. And, you made America great because of the car. You opened up the car. Do you know how many miles of road in North America there are? 2 billion. 2 billion miles of road in your country. So, in the last 100 years, you've had the acceleration of industry and growth. You've lifted up the entire world out of poverty since the collapse of Russia. I mean, everyone's boat in the world has gone up, and the number of people in poverty in the world has dropped 30%. And you call in and make these statements about people pulling tags and not being able to benefit from their opportunities they create for the benefit of everyone. Sorry, I got to tell you that.
Well, I'm standing behind Jeff Sessions. Well, I did read Henry Ford's autobiography, and I was quite impressed. He's got a good soul. A lot of the slings and arrows they throw at him are unwarranted. He was a multi-talented person. He was good building the cars and good administering the people, and good building a system of bringing the parts of the cars together, but and he tried to help.
And also remember, he went bankrupt 3 times.
Yeah.
Ford Motor Company was his 4th company.
Yeah.
Oh well, I didn't know this. Well, you guys may have look at things in a certain way, but not all of us look at it that way, including Jeff Sessions. He doesn't like the way some people are squeezed into a corner with $40,000.
Did he make a suggestion as to what those people could do?
All right, go ahead.
Well, I'm saying, did Jeff Sessions make a suggestion? as to what those people could do?
Let me hit the memory banks.
Okay. Don't hurt yourself.
Well, I can't remember. He's covering a lot of different things.
A lot of different topics, yeah.
Yeah, he mentioned how he worked up 30 people in a bus would be driving to his school, and a lot of them became pretty substantial people. So it was a certain amount of hard work. Some of his fellow guys became movers and shakers in his state.
Well, I think the thing we have to remember, when we look at wealth, wealth,
Well, what are you thinking? Let me just
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No. Here's a classic. No, but here's a classic example in your country: the Great Society. Now, the Great Society was set up to redistribute the opportunity of wealth to the African American family, and look what it did to them. It destroyed them. It destroyed the family. They became dependent on the government. They never got off it, and it became a generational problem. 3-4 generations have stayed on government support because of it. So redistribution of wealth does not succeed. It never has. We see that and make a joke about it, about Venezuela all the time. Go, Tom.
Okay. Well, I was going to say that, you take any billionaire you want to talk about Henry Ford. There was no guarantee that the fourth time Ford started a motor company was going to work. There was no guarantee when Bill Gates walked into IBM with an idea for software that, it was going to go to the point that it did. There was no guarantee that Jeff Bezos starting a bookstore online would end up being the richest guy in the world. Dell Computers in his dorm room. There's no guarantee that Dell would be a major computer producer, or that Mark Zuckerberg would his Facebook would take off and be addictive to over 1 billion people. I mean, none of that was guaranteed. And maybe they got some luck along the way. Maybe they were at the head of the parade. But the point is that all of them started as unknowns. Nobody knew who they were. Nobody knew anything about them. But they had an idea and they ran with it.
Yeah,
and that's what wealth is. It's not a redistribution. Amazon doesn't take money from someone else. They create their own. They don't take it away. There's not a finite amount of money that if somebody loses $1, somebody else makes $1.
And they create greater wealth because the wealth they hold is equity in stock in their company. Mm-hmm. They don't have, now one guy that's taken the biggest advantage of it, of course, is Bill Gates, who we talked about, the rights agreement that he has with Microsoft to buy back at a discounted price all the stock he sold every year. But the point is all the wealth these people have created to the benefit of everybody is in stock.
Yeah.
And so, look at Bezos. He just paid out his wife $35 billion in cash.
There you are. But he lost money for the first 12 years he was in business.
Yeah. Well, Amazon.
Yeah.
Well, all right. There's a third person around.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Always nice to chat with you about this.
Yeah. Well, the third person is here. My parting words is it's become an unhealthy alliance between the hoarders of wealth and the people addicted to gadgets and gadgets.
Well, that's an addiction that can be broken, so there you are. Hey, thanks for the call. I got to take another call. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Call, you on the air. What's going on?
Is this the radio station?
This is the radio station.
Okay, this is Jay calling.
Yeah.
So, I just had to respond to your last conversation / comments.
Yeah, sure.
So, and not to sound kind of, offensive, but I just want to let you know that I'm a successful businessman in Bozeman, been here for many years, but I'm from Los Angeles. I'm a CPA by trade. I have an MBA. I've studied economics for years. And I travel a fair amount across the country and the world. And I think it's, undeniable that there is tremendous income, not just disparity, but inequality all over America. I mean,
I would disagree strongly with that.
Okay, well, when I drive around and other people I'm with in the car, we comment. And let me give you for example.
Sure.
And this isn't like to say it's a, ideologically good or bad. It's just kind of, you can observe what's happening and try and understand it and think about its implications, because I think they're serious. We just went to Yakima, Washington, and along the way, it's pretty much poor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get into big cities, and there are tremendous concentrations of wealth. And so people like Jeff Bezos can pay his wife $35 billion for whatever reason he chooses. I mean, some people make a lot.
Yep.
Some people hardly get by. Most people. Now, again,
I just have a question about you driving through the Yakima Valley. What about all the vineyards and all the farms? They're phenomenal.
Oh no,
what are you talking about? It's not poor. Yakima Valley is one of the biggest wine centers of your country.
So do I get to answer your question, or do
I'm
you
sorry.
Too?
No, but you made that comment. That's all.
Right, exactly, and that's the perfect sort of analogy for what I'm trying to say. You drive through great stretches of, I don't want to say poverty, but yeah, and then there are pockets of wealth, tremendous wealth, and people doing really well, and good for them. And I'm not here to say that the people who are poor, whether it is or isn't their fault, but which we could discuss. But the point is this. It has serious implications on a society when you get too much wealth disparity and too much inequality. I mean, history will tell you that, if the peasants can't eat, they revolt or riot or you have anarchy. I'm not saying that's happening in America, but I see lots of people here. I own apartments, and man, there's so many people who are just so desperate. I mean, they're so close to problems, and you step back and you consider the numbers. And I would actually contest you. You could say, look in the mirror and say, what is your problem, or why can't you succeed like the others?
Yeah.
And you could point to thousands of success stories, and it's the wonder of America and of our system that makes it work and create these. But at the same time, you can't deny the fact, like there are built-in ways that enable people to sort of systematically succeed in some cases and not. I was fortunate. Like I got to take advantage of most of the things. Being a white male from an upper middle class family, I got to go to good schooling. I was supported. We had stability. I'm not saying you blame it on the government. It's complicated, but you can't just say, for example, look at Jeff Sessions. If you're Jeff Sessions and you grow up in Alabama and it's poor all around you, he made it. I mean, and his story must be a miracle. But he looks around him and he says, yeah, the odds are people aren't going to make it for all kinds of reasons.
Well,
and the government's a part of it. The government's a big part of it.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm up against the clock here, so I don't want to. I want to leave you with two thoughts. One is what Jeff Bezos make and what I make has no bearing on each other. Only what I make has a bearing, and if I want to make more, then I have to do something myself to improve my skills or get better.
Can I give you a quick?
Well, hang on a second, because I'm up against the clock. I'm going to have to go, and I want to give you the second point. Second point is I've lived on the street. I've been broke, no money, no prospects, no job, no nothing. And I will tell you for a fact, if you are poor in the richest country on earth, being poor in America is a choice. It's not a life sentence. It's a choice. And I have to go. I'm sorry. But
Thank you.
I'm up against the clock. Hey, thanks for your comments. I appreciate what you had to say. And, much of it I agree with. I'll be right back. All right, we'll be right back. It is 1 minute, well, about a minute and a half before the top of the hour. We got that accomplished pretty well, so we've only got a minute left here. So coming up at the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to call some robocall folks, and we want to see if we can have a little fun with some of them. And we appreciate everybody's comments here. As I say, we like a spirited discussion, not an argument as to we have various points of view, and I'm not here to convert you to my way of thinking, and neither is Shane. We're here just to facilitate the conversation, and we enjoy people who disagree with us, and certainly we are more than happy to entertain those folks, because that's how people are informed. You hear both sides of the thinnest pancake has two sides. So if we can institute a discussion where there's some difference of opinion, that's good radio, and that's what we want. So all views are welcome here, as we've always said. We're not going to make fun of you. We're not going to call you names. We're not going to tell you that you're stupid or anything like that. But we'll present our own points of view. You present yours, and we'll let the listeners decide who made the best case. So
that's right. Like, we all put pants on. Some people put their right leg in first, and some people put the left leg in
that's
first.
Right.
Whatever.
Or both.
Yeah, or both.
All right. We'll be back with more Fox News at the top of the hour, then robocalls right after this. It is 3 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. It is Tuesday, April 9th, 2019, 39 degrees outside. Good morning, everyone. Tommy Goloff, your morning mayor in the house. Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox. And our text line got busy with all the conversation about money, Shane. So,
all right.
From our text line, 478-8298, yay, Fox News reports more liberal tariffs. Tell me again how Trump is not a Democrat. Nancy and Chuck are giddy. All right. Let's see. I wonder what would happen to some people if bankruptcy laws didn't exist and they went to jail for debt. Debtor's jail. Remember that, Shane?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
England.
Yes, sir. Let's see. It was worse when Pharaoh was in power. It was worse when the czars controlled Russia. To have a system where there is innovation and opportunity to improve, there has to be a slope to the line that shows income levels. Ideally, it would be a straight line sloping upwards and maybe not so parabolic on the upper end, but there truly needs to be a slope, or is it the Pharaoh and the plebes? Well said. Does being born into a family that can financially send you to college give you an advantage in America? Not if you take Peruvian pottery, or,
yeah, that's right.
Or
exactly.
liberal arts or something like that. If you want to take science, technology, engineering, or math, absolutely, you'd have a step up, absolutely, in the college thing. Let's see. Things aren't always as they appear. I know a bag lady in New York City who pushes a shopping cart and makes $100,000 a year. So there you are. You can do that. The caller was obviously never been out of the country. There are rich and poor people all over the world, and there always will be. Daniel Peterson needs to get a job and stop trying to mold the country into communism. And let's see. Take a look at the history of Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Those young men were visionaries, passionate about that vision, and dirt poor, yet they wouldn't let poverty hold them back.
And save their company twice.
Yeah, I think the reparations are the Democratic Party's guilty conscience. In Iowa, my Irish Catholic family had a cross burned in their yard to try to chase them out of the area. This party's history is filled with horrible atrocities. And how about frostbacks? My people came across the border from Quebec. So,
yeah, there you
frostbacks, there you go. All right, let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, thanks for listening. You're on the air. What's going on?
Hi, it's Gay.
Hi, Gabe.
Good morning, Gay.
Hello. I just wanted to say, a lot of times poverty has choices. You see people that are on welfare and they all holding an iPhone. They all got their nails done which is, expensive to have done. And they'll have, these weaves and all this stuff. Now, that's a choice of how you spend your money, or how should I say, how you spend other people's money. So, when I was younger and I had little kids, we never went on a vacation because we couldn't afford a vacation. We had to pay for school shoes and, food, stuff that's, maybe not as important to other people. But like I said, I still don't own an iPhone because I'm not willing to pay $1,000 for a phone. I think it's crazy. But, that's my opinion.
I'm glad you paid for the phone you have.
I did pay for the phone I have. But like I said, I don't have an iPhone because
Sure.
I'm not willing to pay $1,000 for a phone. I think that's crazy. But, other people think it's real important. So it's how you choose to spend your money. If you're poor and you make poor choices, then, there you have it.
Yeah.
If your nails are more important than you having an iPhone or $800 sneakers, I've never owned an $800 pair of sneakers in my life, nor did my children, nor would I allow them to.
Yeah.
That's crazy, in my opinion. So, people need to, make choices with their money, or, like I said, with other people's money. Because, when you're on welfare and you're spending $800 for a pair of sneakers, that's inappropriate. And if that guy feels so bad for the poor people here in town, he can lower his rents down to, $500 a month and give them a break.
Yeah. Well, that's an option. Or,
that's his choice.
Or he has the choice of renting to people who can afford his property.
There you go. But, does he want to lose money on his property? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for poor people. I think everybody feels sorry for poor people. But like I said, you need to look at your choices. Like I said, my husband and I never went on a vacation. I've never been out of the United States because, I couldn't afford a cruise. I had my house payment to make. We did a lot of sacrificing because I grew up without a whole lot, and my husband grew up without a whole lot. And, we just had to, we had to make choices. And we own a home now because we made that choice.
Yep.
So, sometimes people need to look at their choices and stop feeling sorry for themselves.
Well, another saying that I've said from time to time, if everyone would live for a short time like most people won't, they can live for the rest of their life like most people can't.
Well, that's true, too. Like I said, a lot of it has to do with choices. If you choose $800 $800 sneakers and, not feed your kids, well, that was a choice you made.
There you go. Hey, you can get a big screen TV at a pawn shop a lot cheaper than you can at Walmart. So
that's or you wait. You don't get the brand new.
Yeah, that's it. You don't get the new car. You drive the wheels off an old one. That's what you do.
We don't even have a new car.
Yeah,
because the new car is just crazy expensive.
Well, the other day,
$60,000 for a pickup truck, for God's sake.
Well, the other day we were talking about Gronkowski, who retired from the New England Patriots, and he got $58 million over 9 years, saved every dime of it because he lived off endorsements and saved his salary, and he has a retirement there. He could have blown all that money on big homes and automobiles and jewelry and blings and all kinds of stuff and vacations, but he didn't do it. So
I say he's a
smart guy.
Choices.
Yeah, he made good choices.
Made wise choices.
He lived for a short period of time like other athletes won't, and now he can live the rest of his life like most of them can't. So
exactly, and he probably will just buy a decent home and a decent car and he doesn't have to have a frickin' Bentley because
he has a pickup truck.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem with a lot of people in America.
Yeah.
They want the perception of wealth.
That's right.
I drive a car I can't afford. I live in a house I can't afford, and then they go broke. And then there's like, well, yeah, it's not fair.
That's right.
Well, it's your choices.
That's true. I'll tell you, boy. I don't know. These people have multiple homes. You got to take care of them. You got to pay taxes on them. You got to maintain them. All that.
My first house that we ever owned was a little single wide mobile home. Let me tell you, I was so grateful to own that.
There you are.
So grateful that I got that far.
All right, Gay, thanks for the call.
Even if it was a house with wheels.
There you are.
Have a good day.
All right. Briggs and Stratton, I hope, or Michelin's. There you go. On there. Let's take another call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Tom, this is Aaron. I need to know what your text number is. I got a new phone.
Oh, it's 478-8298. 478-8298.
Okay. And I just want to say one more thing real quick.
Sure.
That, there's about 10 of us or 12 of us that hang out that do the same job that I do.
Uh-huh.
And we all make about 100, 120 grand a year. So we're not rich. We're not poor, right there in the middle class. And some of us have a positive net worth. And some of us are in debt up to our eyeballs and can't see straight. And there's others of us that are addicted to alcohol and spend every dime on booze. Don't have any debt, but I know one guy that I hang out with. Well, I don't hang out with him a whole lot, but he lives with his parents and he's drunk all the time. Has a nice haircut, nice shoes. He's got his little bedroom full of $1,000 items that nobody paid $500 for. But it's all in how you spend your money. I mean, in this valley right here, if you look at all the cabinet installers or the drywallers, some of them are doing really well and some of them are broke as a joke and they'll make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
So, all right, you guys be good. Thanks for the
call. All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Bye. All right, appreciate it. Yeah, I think in in many cases, as I say, if I sincerely believe, having been poor, having been broke, having been on the street, living in my car, in a city where I didn't know anyone, it's a choice. I made the choice, and I will tell you, living on the street ain't bad, Shane. You got no taxes. You got no responsibilities. There's always a soup kitchen somewhere. There's always somebody to help you. There's always somebody that'll give you a bed somewhere. You go to the beach every day if you want to, and just kind of cool it and enjoy life.
That's right. The two things about all these callers that I find interesting are two things that I say and we talk about. Good choices, good consequences. Bad choices, bad consequences. And number two, you either live to work because you love your job, you enjoy it, you're educated, whatever the reason that you live to work is important, because if you work to live, you restrict your ability to move forward and move up the income scale. So a lot of people work to live and they're not happy. And so that, that unhappiness also prevents them from being motivated and wanting to find other opportunities. But now in this economy, you have choices of jobs, so you can make a good choice and move somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, it's tough in Bozeman because our unemployment's about 2%, I think. In fact, I think we're back to giving bonuses if you'll stay 90 days or stay past your probationary period or make it through your probationary period. You get you'll get a bonus of some kind, and I think that makes sense to get right workers. And we're seeing signs around town that people are starting to pay $15, $16 an hour when our minimum wage is like $8. And the other thing that I wanted to point out too is that the median income in 2017 was $61,372. That's the median, not the average. That's the median income, which is the middle of the pack. And that would be the middle class, supposedly. Middle class income reached a record of $61,372 in 2017, up 1.8% from $60,309 in 2016. And it's the third year in a row that median household income has gone up, according to the Census Bureau. So,
Mm-hmm.
And the average salary in the average salary in 2018, median household income according to senior research is 61,858 in May 2018, went up to 62,175 in June. So you got almost $1,000 raise in 1 month or 2 months there, increase of 0.5% over the previous month. So that's pretty cool to look at that. So we are moving. The income ladder is moving up, and most people don't stay at the bottom of the income ladder. They move up. They get a job. They learn skills. They learn the ins and outs of how to work for a company, and they move up the ladder. And
that's right. And when I mentioned about the reduction of poverty in the world globally because of the collapse of the Soviet Union, and I mentioned about remittances. So the World Bank estimates remittances of a total of $585 billion in 2016, of which, and this is amazing, $442 billion went to developing countries that involved 250 million migrant workers.
Mm-hmm.
So even though people are, for the sake of argument, coming to your country as a migrant and working, and they still manage to send money home. And India is the biggest recipient of this, 69 billion. China, 64 billion people are sending back. Philippines, 33 billion, and Mexico, 31 billion a year in 2017. So. The list is long and it involves hundreds of countries. It's not just a few, but every country in the world. So all kinds of things, provide markers for us to look at that enhances the global economy and lifting people out of poverty.
Yeah.
And it's an important thing to talk about. And I'm glad we do because nobody else does. No one else talks about this.
Yeah. I forgot to preface in my remark earlier, I said if you're poor in America, it's a choice. Actually, my full phrase of that is unless you're mentally or physically unable to work,
that's right.
Then being poor in the United States of America, the richest country in the world, is a choice.
That's right.
There is something you can do about it. There are training programs, there are there's help all over the place. There's 126 poverty programs that the United States, and 77 of them just pass out cash. Get on, find out what you're eligible for. There's housing help. There's utilities help. There's welfare. There's all kinds of things. But the biggest problem, I think, facing the poor is that the United States government is great at throwing out all these programs, feel-good programs, school lunches, this and that, but they are very poor at giving anyone an incentive to get off those programs.
That's correct.
Give me an incentive, give me a training program. If I qualify for welfare and I'm able-bodied, then I should attend this training program. Or I should, take a computer course or something like that, or something. When Bill Clinton, during his administration, when we capped welfare, remember that?
Yes.
What happened to unemployment? It plummeted because, as you mentioned earlier, we've got 3 generations of people on unemployment or on welfare. They grew up on it. They know no other system. But when they were forced to get off the couch and stop watching Oprah and go get a job, many did, and I'm sure they felt better for it, that they were a productive person. They were making their own money and, they had a purpose in life.
Well, and the whole thing about a consumer country or economy is when you have money in your pocket and you want to go buy those Nike shoes for $150 that you've earned.
Yeah.
You take great pride in those shoes and how you wear them. Of course you do.
Well, yeah, you take care of them. You take care of them. You avoid the mud puddles and stuff like that. And,
that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, at $10 an hour, you had to work 15 hours to buy them.
Yeah.
So you understand that. And that's why the importance about individual prosperity is really based on motivation and the individual motivation you have and ambition that you have. And the Scottish saying, right? You either buy what you want or buy what you need.
Yeah, right.
But when you have a job, you can do both. You
Yeah.
can buy what you want and you can buy what you need.
Right, yeah.
But if you're in poverty, all you do is buy what you need. And you look at everything and go, why don't I?
Yeah.
Why don't I have that? Why can't I have that?
Yeah. Well, as I've said many times, there's a price that I will accept to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and and do show prep and come in here and, leave at 11 or noon. There's a price to that. And we sat down and I said, hey, I'm not going to work for less than this amount. And that's what we're doing, and I'll either be here or I won't, but
that's right. 24 hours in a day. Most people sleep and change, dress, shower, eat 8 hours. So you got 16 hours a day. And the thing is your life in North America is broken up into three things: your personal life, your social life, and your professional life. And you have to balance all those and make choices. And like you say, you get up at 3 a.m. Well, that's a big personal choice.
It is. Yeah.
It seriously
having done it a couple of times before, at least I know the hardship of it, particularly when you first start doing it, because you got to adjust your whole body life when you eat. And, so I'll have supper at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon because, 7 o'clock is my bedtime. So,
and when you've done well and you go broke, which both of us have done, and we've recreated ourselves to get back. The interesting thing about it is once you've had stuff, and if you lose the ability to get stuff, you want to get back there.
You want to get back to that stuff, yeah.
You want to get back to being able to
That's what I bet I could take almost anybody listening to us, take everything they own away from them, drop them in the middle of nowhere with nothing, and they could rise to where they are today because they know, because they did it. They traveled that road.
And they know they can do it.
And they know they can do it again.
Like riding a bike, baby. Once you get on the go, you can always ride a bike.
You may fall off, but hey, eventually you get to where you're going. Let's take one more call, and then we got to take a break. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Good morning, guys. It's Barry from Bozeman.
Hey, Barry, how you doing?
Good. I just had a couple of points about one of the lady callers that just called in said it was she said it was a choice, whether you want to have these things. And it just kind of touched me personally because my brother and I are perfect examples of that. We grew up poor. We grew up with nothing. And my brother kind of went one way and I went another way. I kind of wanted to get those things that, that people want, a house and a car and this and that. And
right.
He just doesn't have any desire to do those things. He has his own house, but he lives in a kind of an old rundown house and he has an old rundown truck. And he's 100% perfectly happy with that. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just a choice that people make. And I went a different way. I could have went the same way he did. I could have stayed in the same place and I could have done the same things. And I own my own business now. I make a good living, a fair living. And, it just touched me that, it is a choice. If you want to make it in America, you can do anything you want to do. I could work 23 hours a day and probably make a lot more money than I am now. I don't want to do that either.
No, there you are. I hear you.
It's those same choices. So
I like a sit down job where I just get paid to talk.
Well, and then what you said, you came in and you said, here's what I want to get paid. As you get older, you get those privileges because you have the experience to do that.
Right.
What's gone wrong now is these 20-year-olds come in and say, I want to get paid what Tom's getting paid.
Yeah.
Well, that's not how it works. You got to work your way up the ladder.
Amen. Yeah, you got to have a track record somewhere.
Yeah, you got to have some knowledge in your head. You can't just come in and start bossing people around.
Yeah.
Well, a 30-day, 90-day review has a meaning.
Yeah, that's true. It does. Yeah. Hey, thanks for the call. I got to go.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate your comments. Thanks a lot. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back in 1 minute. 26 minutes after the hour. It is it's Tuesday and it's April 9th. And it's 2019, Shane.
Very good.
Did I pass the test?
You did.
It's 39.
You're paying attention.
Yeah, it's 39 degrees outside. Shane Madabin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor in the house. And you're listening to the KMMS Morning Soapbox. And from our text line, I personally knew a young man who was poor, had MS, lived in a motorized wheelchair. He still worked part-time as a computer expert and fought city official for years in another state to lower crosswalk buttons and slope sidewalks for wheelchair access. So, yeah, if you're able to do something, hey, handicaps aren't always an issue. The woman that called gay, that woman is obviously way smarter than 50 Cent, the broke rapper. 50 Cent went bankrupt. From our text line, I came from nothing. Working hard pays off in America. Whining gets you nothing. And so there you are. So a few comments from our text line. Let's take a phone call here before we have to go at the bottom of the hour. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox. What's your name? What's going on?
Hey, morning, Righteous Eagle Man.
Hey, Steve.
Morning to you, big dog. Hey, when did the left ever make this redistribution of wealth concept a moral imperative? In other words, they act as though it's the right thing to do. And the bottom line of that, and remember the conversations Tom and Shane was as honest as I've ever seen Obama be. When he was running for president, he had that conversation with Joe the plumber.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how that went?
Remember that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The redistribution of wealth, as if that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So I would just put in my 2 cents that I think their premise is flawed. In order to think that way, I guess you'd have to believe that most people who are better off than you are don't deserve it. Either you're every bit as intelligent, you're every bit as hardworking, you're every bit as creative, and you're every bit as willing to take risk, which is how most of those people get that way, and that's how they usually surpass their peers, with what they have. Now, some may define that as success or not. That's up to the individual.
Yeah.
But the bottom line, they act as though redistribution of wealth is the right thing to do.
Yep, I gotta go. I gotta go. I'm sorry. I guess
Tom, you can comment on the other side of the break.
Will do.
I don't think redistribution of wealth could be any more unfair.
There you go. It is 27 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Thursday, April 9th, 2019. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane Madabin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Tom Eaglehoff here. Morning, Mayor. We got a caller waiting on the line. Caller, you are on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tom, this is Tony.
Hey, Tony, how are you?
Yeah, well, the Democrats are starting to go for the reparations.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder if, ask Shane if we should buy stock in Ancestry.com, because it's going to be a total crazy nut job.
There we go.
There you go. I don't know if it's public. I'll check. Let me check and see.
Yeah, see if it's public or not. I just got my Ancestry in the mail a few days ago, so I'm gonna pop it in and see what they tell me about me. So
right,
we'll see. But
wonder they come up with all these great thoughts.
Yeah, that's a good point, though. It would be interesting to see. I know one of the. It was an Ancestry, and I don't think it was 1, 2, 3, the other one that gets a lot of notoriety, but I think one of them was sharing it with the police department of somewhere. If they had anybody that matched up their DNA, they could go get them, I guess, if they had done a crime or something. But I don't know if that's. I think the courts have come down on that as an invasion of privacy.
Yeah, it seems like Congress is so competent on everything else. I wonder how they would figure this one out.
Yeah, right.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, thanks, Shane.
You bet.
All right. Anything on Ancestry, Shane?
They have filed an IPO, so they are going to want to go public on NASDAQ. There you go.
Oh, yeah? Do we have an opening bid?
No, they just filed an IPO.
They just filed, initial public offering, an IPO.
Right.
Yeah.
An IPO,
for people that may not know what an IPO is.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. From our text line, 478-8298, I wonder if having your father pay a doctor to write a note for bone spurs gives you an advantage to not be shot down in Vietnam. Well, as a Vietnam veteran, I will tell you that it'll take a lot more than a note from an outside doctor to get you through the medical deal. If you come in and claim you have bone spurs, they're going to do some x-rays. They're going to check it out. They certainly did with a lot of people. I wore a dress, and everybody else did too. So that didn't work, so, they didn't like it. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Call, you are on the air. What's going on?
That'd be me, Tom.
That's you.
All right, this is Steve.
Yeah. What's up, Steve?
Earlier you were talking about Trump's tax return.
Yeah.
Tell me, where do you find the income tax in the Constitution?
Well, it just says that they have the right to lay and bear taxes. It doesn't say income tax anywhere that I'm aware of. Not income tax, anyway.
It says no direct taxes shall issue. And income tax is a direct tax. Now, supposedly, they passed the 16th Amendment. But do you know what the process is for passing an amendment?
You're not going to go with the 16th, are you?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. If you want to go down that road, fine, go ahead, but it's a done deal.
What do you mean it's a done deal?
Well, according to history, it was ratified. And I know you think it wasn't, but, the state votes are there according to historical documents. So, if you think it wasn't, that's fine, but it was, at least according to history.
No, I'll tell you what happened. Woodrow Wilson went on the news and said, it appears the 16th Amendment has been ratified. And nobody bothered to check it out until about 1970-something. And Bill Benson and Red Beckman, there was a income tax deal against some rancher here in Montana. They were talking around and they said, do you suppose the government lied about passing the 16th Amendment? And so they've never told us the truth about anything. So they sent Bill Benson to every state, all 48 of them, to see whether the 16th Amendment was properly ratified. And what they found out was there was none of the states ratified the 16th Amendment. So they came back to this court case, and they took Bill Benson into the court, and they said, are you going to testify that the 16th Amendment wasn't ratified? And he says, yes, we are. And so they called in 3 psychiatrists, declared Bill Benson mentally incompetent, threw him in jail, or in an insane asylum. 150 milligrams or whatever it was that they were giving him was a large dose. They were giving him 1,500 milligrams of whatever it was. So Red Beckman, if you remember, Red was basically raised right here in the Gallatin Valley. Anyway, that's beside the point. But so they got a bunch of guys together, and they got Bill Benson out of the psychiatry ward, and he came out a vegetable pretty much. Well, actually, the first thing in the court case, the judge says, are those certified copies of the vote for the 16th Amendment? And they haven't gotten certified copies. So they chartered a plane. They sent Bill Benson back to every state to see whether the 16th was ratified, got all certified copies that not a single state ratified the 16th Amendment, and they brought him back to the court case again. That's when they called in the psychiatrist. And anyway, so Red Beckman wrote the book called The Law That Never Was. And so like a bunch of slaves that we Americans are, we all line up and we go down and give the 8 richest families in the world 20-30% of whatever we make. And they're just happier than hell. Back when the slave was a slave, you had to feed him, clothe him, take care of his family, and all that stuff in the Civil War. And he wasn't happy because he knew he was a slave. Well, now they just let the people go out here and take 20-30% of whatever they make. They're happier than hell because they think they're free.
Well, I would tell you, Steve, I would head to New York City. I would go to the New York Times. I would tell them that this hasn't been ratified, and ask if they have a reporter that would be willing to go with you and go to every state in the union. Or I don't even think you'd have to go to every state in the union. If you could find 3 that didn't officially ratify the 16th Amendment, that would be front page news for the Times. And, this whole thing would be moot and we wouldn't be paying taxes. But, that's the reason that, as I said, I got another call waiting, but real quick, finish your thought.
We're paying lawful taxes, Tom. There's a constitution that says what the lawful taxes are. And we're a bunch of sheep in this country. And we go along. There is a book. It's called The Law That Never Was. I have a copy of it. Would you like to see it if I can find it somewhere?
Well, I don't think you need to convince me. I'm pretty sure that income tax was a done deal, and I think I'd need to see more proof than some guy's book.
All right. Well,
thanks
certified copies, Tom.
All right. Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. Always good to hear from you. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on the air. What's going on?
Well, all these Negro slaves, former Negro slaves, whining about reparations. They don't have a leg to stand on. The one that was really screwed over was the Chinese coolies that worked the railroad.
built the railroads. Yeah, we talked about them earlier. Yeah, that they should be right up there at the front of the line.
Well, they weren't even allowed to stay. At least the Negroes were allowed to stay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you there.
Nobody got screwed over like the Chinese.
Yeah, they were pretty bad, that's for sure. So, and they kept them supplied with lots of opium to keep them working. So there you go.
No, that's a myth.
Well,
so
whatever.
They just worked hard.
All right. Thanks for the call.
They worked the hardest part of the railroad was through the California mountains.
Oh yeah. No, there's no question there. Yeah, that's history. All right, man. Thanks for the call. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Well, that was quick, wasn't it?
Okay, just for some real quick context, the 16th Amendment, the important thing, there were 42 states at the time. 36 voted and approved it. Montana, January 27th, 1911. And, of course, the interesting thing about the caller would like to probably know, because the required 2/3, 36 states ratified it. But legislatures of the following states rejected the amendment without ever subsequently ratifying it: Connecticut, Rhode Island, Utah, and Virginia. And there's 2 states that were not even willing to propose it: Florida and Pennsylvania.
Well, there you are. See?
So there you go.
So the people in those states don't have to pay, I guess, because they didn't.
That might be.
They didn't go for it, so I don't know. Well, as I say, anytime you have these things, if Donald Trump came out and said the 16th Amendment was ratified, every news organization in the world would be at every state. Give me the proof. Show me the stuff. Show me the whatever.
The historical record.
Yeah, show me the records of from your state as to what happened. And I don't know.
Because back then it was done by paper and pencil, so you'd have records.
Yeah. All right, from our text line, 478-8298, if reparations did occur, would we finally be able to put all this racist or used to be a slave drama behind us, or would it be something done in perpetuity? And sorry for the weird wording, I use voice to text. So there you are. That's okay.
Well, regrettably, the unfortunate thing with the type of politics in your country today, the answer is no. Because, the Democrats fall back on racism all the time. That I mean,
it's kind of a thing with them. Although they are not as bad as they used to be, because the black race is now the second largest minority, and of course the border thing is we're all Hispanics. We all Beto O'Rourke. Hey, we're all for the Hispanic folks and the caging of children. Oh my God. The U.S. is a terrible place, and we're going to fix it.
It's like the prosecutor Fox in Chicago over the Millett trial, right? This weekend, she announced, this is all about racism, because I'm the first black woman prosecutor in the state. And,
so you're coming after me because of my my race. So I don't know. Well, I don't know. These folks are just, the great thing about talk radio is that we just, when I say things on here that the government does, I can't believe I'm actually reporting truth. They want open borders. Yeah, Beto wants to take down the walls around El Paso. What?
I know.
Come on. Or the judge says, hey, once you set foot in the United States, you get all the rights of a citizen, no matter what. Does that make any sense to anybody anywhere on any planet?
No, and because the strange thing about it is, what about all these people that take 10 years to become American citizens that are living here and going through the process? So they don't really need to go through the process now. They're here, so they're already entitled.
Yeah.
It creates so many conflicting situations within the guidelines of your country, right?
Yeah,
it does.
From our text line, 478-8298, plenty of whites with a slave in their ancestry. Do they get reparations? I don't know. If I take this ancestry test, I may get reparations. I may have been, I may have been abused somewhere along the line here.
Well, that's right. Exactly.
Depending on what's in my
but you follow ancestry or DNA tracking, and you may find out that there may be African American DNA in you.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're entitled to it, right?
Right. Yeah, from our text line, 478-8298, it's like I told my kids, some people only find problems, other people only find solutions. And that's a great saying. I like that.
Solve the problem.
Solves the problem, yep. As Einstein said, if I'm faced with a problem, I will spend 50 minutes thinking about the problem and 10 minutes thinking about the solution.
and my other favorite quote of Einstein's was, if you don't believe in miracles, walk out your front door and look up. Everything is a miracle.
Yep, pretty much. Yep. Well, that's a good place to take a Rush update.
Indeed.
Yeah, so let's do that. Here's Rush. 8 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, April 3rd, 2019. Did I say April 3rd?
I heard April 9th.
How dumb am I? Tuesday, April 9th, 2019. 40 degrees outside. Oh, man.
So if I read this right, Ancestry.com Inc. is trading over the counter by market makers right now at $32.05. They've filed an IPO for a full NASDAQ listing at $13.50, number one. Number two, I want to apologize to our listeners. The White House budget does cover the cost of state dinners, but the president does cover all of his personal expenses, including the food he eats.
Okay. So there you are.
Yeah.
So get that. So now when the sports teams show up, when Virginia shows up, he's going to have Big Macs and Whoppers now. And I think if I remember correctly, that comes out of his pocket, or he said he paid for them.
That's right.
It's only about $4,000 or something like that. It's not not a big paycheck for. Yeah. But the thing I was wondering, and this will be in my blog tomorrow. What about Trump's income taxes? And I referenced this in the blog that if sports teams show up at the White House and he's got all these Big Macs and everything. Shouldn't we be looking at McDonald's tax returns to make sure that there wasn't any hanky-panky on these Big Macs and fries and stuff between, and if Trump's got a Brooks Brothers suit, shouldn't we look at Brooks Brothers tax returns also to make sure that the taxpayers aren't on the hook for those suits?
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, come on, we got to be honest here. And also from our text line 478-8298, no robocalls. Well, we kind of got sidetracked with all the texting and everything on reparations and the taxes and everything else. So we apologize. We don't have any guests on Thursday, so maybe we'll try doing the robocalls on Thursday, and
that'll be fun.
We'll try to be boring between 7 and 8, so we don't get a whole bunch of stuff going. Not that we aren't every other day, but
no, we love the callers.
That's true. We do. Yeah. No, I do. Since American Indians also held slaves, does Pocahontas have to pay reparations? So there you go. Yeah, I would think she should be first in line for that. She's one that's all for it. So, hey, the Indian wars. Yeah, they fought with each other, took prisoners, and those prisoners became slaves of that tribe. So Pocahontas may be on the hook and not realize it.
Slavery is not an American idea. I mean, it's gone back 7,000 years. So.
You go back to building the pyramids with slaves. And,
exactly.
All that stuff. And I mean, come on. Yeah, it's enslaving one person by another is nothing. I would assume that's been since the beginning of time. The strong, rule over the weak.
Exactly.
And that's been the kind of the way it is at least till America started, and then
everyone had a choice.
Everybody has an equal opportunity. They may not, as we say, there may be income inequality, but there's more of a opportunity inequality than there is an income inequality.
I don't think in your 200-year history that hasn't been the case. It always has been. I mean,
if you have a good idea, run with it. I remember 2 businesses that I wanted to do failed. My cat hairball medicine, catatonic, didn't work. Some people said it was because of the name,
Yeah, that's right.
And my liposuction reversal clinic, when people had to buy new clothes, they'd go, "Wait a minute, I want the fat back." Didn't work. They didn't want the fat back. So I don't know.
In 1900, 92% of your workforce was agrarian to feed everyone. So today it's 16%. So there you go, folks. Adapt and create.
There you go. I can, from our text line 478-8298, I can see Maxine Waters rubbing her hands together. She said, show me the money. From our text line also, I am a slave as I am working so others don't have to. There you are. I guess that's what you and I are doing. Huh? We're working so others don't have to. All right.
For the man, that's the thing is you make that choice. That's right.
I know. I just sent off my tax payment the other day, and oh my God.
Don't you feel a lot better?
I do. I feel so much better paying the government their fair share.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. And anyway, we got about a minute left here, and this has been a tough morning with no music and no production stuff and playing the weather by hand and all that. So hopefully tomorrow may be better, but at least I think we are streaming online, and I think we're on the app on the phone. So we are thankful for small favors. So we'll see.
Well, the righteous eagle man pulled this out of his pocket because it's been one of the best daytime shows we've had. So
it is not too bad. We're also taping the show so that if you missed any part of it or want to hear any part of it, certainly we will have it up shortly after this show ends, and so you can listen to it commercial free. That's the best part, it's commercial free. So we really enjoy that part.
Well, our 3 hours are up, Mayor. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. So we'll talk again in the a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Get up at 3. I want you burly tailed, okay?
Yeah,
Everybody
right.
be happy, be safe. Thank you for all the callers.
All right. Thanks much, Shane. All right. That's going to wrap it up for the two of us. We enjoy this time with you guys, particularly when we get calls and texts and everything. It kind of makes the show flow a little better. Sorry we didn't get to the robocall tease today, but we'll try and do that on Thursday. Mike McCormick will be in the house tomorrow at 8, so we'll talk to him, of course. And, bright and early tomorrow morning, we'll have news and weather and local news and 5 things you need to know and all of that stuff. So thanks to Shane. Thanks to everybody for listening in on us, and we really appreciate that very much. And we don't take that responsibility lightly. So thanks very much for being here. And Aaron Flint with Montana Talks up next. Rush and Hannity and Mark and, the whole crew will be in. So stay tuned. A lot more to come. And we're all live all day long on AM 1450 KMMS in Bozeman, 1340 KPRK in Livingston, online KMMSAM.com, and our phone app, AM 1450 KMMS. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see everybody bright and early tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.